What's packing, everybody? It's your boy God Chow, first of his name, and this is the What's Packing Sports Show. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the Green Bay Packers 2021 schedule, which was released yesterday. A lot of great games in store for Packers fans and just football fans this year. Green Bay is going to be tested early and often, and throughout the whole schedule, I don't think they have any cakewalks on this schedule, with the exception of maybe the Bengals. But even the Bengals might be offensively pretty potent this year after drafting Jamar Chase with their pick in the first round, pairing up Chase and Burrows once again for what was maybe the most prolific quarterback to receiver combination in NCAA history. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's jump right into the schedule breakdown. We're going to start with week 1. And look, I'm going to do, because doing all 18 weeks is like a 30-minute long video, and I'm still a young channel. I don't think anyone's going to sit through 30 minutes of video from me. I'm not someone like Tom Grossi or one of these Pack-A-Day podcasters or Aaron Nagler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down weeks 1 through 8, and then I'm going to do part 2, weeks 9 through 18 in a separate video. But let's jump right into it. Week 1, we start now on Fox. The Green Bay Packers go on the road to face the Saints of New Orleans. And I'm telling you what, mister, I think this is going to be a great game, even though Drew Brees is not a Saint any longer. If you look over the last 2 years, the Saints, when they didn't have Drew Brees at the helm because of injury, in 2019 with Teddy Bridgewater, and in 2020 they had the combination of Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, and they were able to still win games. So even without Brees, this is going to be a formidable team, top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams. This is one of the best rosters in the NFL. So Saints, Packers in New Orleans, week 1. What a way to start out the schedule. I think that's going to be a really incredible game. Then week 2, first primetime game of the season for the Packers. First of 5. That's right, 5 primetime games for Green Bay this year. Tied for the most of any team all year, as to be expected from one of the marquee franchises in football. We take on the Detroit Lions. Monday Night Football, 8 o'clock. That's going to be a good one as well. I don't think the Lions are really ready to put themselves in that contender category. So I feel like the Packers will be able to dismiss them pretty easily, even though the Lions have challenged Green Bay just as good as anybody in recent memory. So it's going to be good to keep our eye on that, see how the new quarterback in Detroit, what's my man's name? What's his name? Jared Goff, right? We'll see how he fares in Detroit, and we'll see how some of their new shiny draft picks shape up. All right. Then week 3 got back-to-back primetime games. This time Sunday Night Football, 8 o'clock in Santa Clara, California. The Packers of Green Bay take on the San Francisco 49ers in what's going to be a titanic clash of teams with some recent history and drama. That's going to be an interesting one. We're going to get a first look at the new kid, Trey Lance. I'm sure he'll probably be taking the starting position from Jimmy Garoppolo. This team, a lot of people have written off because last year they had a lot of COVID and injuries, and they only won 7 games, and they didn't look like the old self. But it's like, come on, man. They was missing like 8 starters from like very key positions, and you had the COVID situation going down. So I think San Francisco is poised to be one of the top teams in the entire NFL next year once again. So that is going to be a tough slate of games for the Packers. Then we coming into week 4, back-to-back really physical games, because we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is one of the games I'm thinking about going to travel to Lambeau for the very first time. Wish me luck, say your prayers, do some I don't know, whatever you got, whatever you do to give me some good energy, do that for me, please, because I would love to go to this game if I have an opportunity to. So I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, but the Steelers are one of the most hardcore, loyal, best traveling fan bases in all of sports. So I mean, I just can't imagine being in the mecca of Lambeau Field while watching Aaron Rodgers potentially for the last time, right? And seeing Big Ben for the last time, and just seeing these two great franchises, two of the most historic franchises in all of sports, going at it in Lambeau. I mean, in October, like that nice fall weather. I mean, I don't know if it can get any better than that. Okay, so but that's going to be a tough game for Green Bay. The Steelers, I mean, a lot of people aren't really sure how they feel about Big Ben in his last year, but he took a pay cut. They just went out and drafted Najee Harris. This defense is going to get a lot of their starters back that when they lost to injury, and I think this is going to be one of the teams to beat in the AFC next year, so it's going to be a tough game. Week 5. We go into Cincinnati to face the Bengals. I think Cincinnati fucked up by not taking Penei Sewell or Slater or an offensive tackle or somebody to help protect Joe Burrow, who's coming off a season-ending injury. Instead, they go out and they get Chase, as I teased at the beginning of the video, to pair back up with Burrows. And the two of them, of course, had one of the most historic, prolific seasons in all of NCAA history when they had that perfect season and they won the championship, and Chase caught 20 touchdowns from Burrows and Burrows put up 60 touchdowns. It was incredible. Still one of the greatest teams probably that NCAA has ever seen. That's going to be a fun game, but I don't think the Bengals are ready to really test the Packers. Now the Green Bay Packers have back-to-back road games, okay, against Chicago from Cincinnati. In week 6, they go to face Chicago. Their first look at Fields, rookie from Ohio that the Bears traded up to grab with the 11th overall pick in the 2020 draft. And I think that this draft by the Bears might save Nagy's neck, okay? He went out and got a really physical, strong, powerful, bruising left tackle in Jenkins. He went and got the second best running back in the draft, if you ask me, in Khalil Herbert. And he went out and got an athletic, accurate, winning, tough, smart player at quarterback in Justin Fields. And this team in Chicago, I think, is going to surprise some people. They made the playoff last year. Now they upgrade. They get a lot of upgrades on offense that they needed at key positions. I think Chicago could be a team that really could challenge Green Bay this year. I don't know if they can challenge them for the division, but I think they could definitely win a game, maybe even sweep the Packers this year. I mean, because Chicago always plays them pretty tough, and they just got a really big upgrade. Then week 6, okay, back home to face the Washington football team. And let me tell you what, this Washington team is really, really, really freaking good. I think they're going to win the NFC East this year and make it the back-to-back playoffs for the first time in a long time for that franchise. This defense is absolutely insane, okay? They're young, they're fast, they're physical, they're freakish, and they just upgraded that defense with Kentucky linebacker Jamin Davis. So they're just getting better and betterer on that side of the ball. Offensively, they've got some pieces. We don't know what's going to happen at quarterback, and they're just a quarterback away. It sucks that the Washington football team, that they were probably too scared to try to go up and get Fields after being burned by the last couple of quarterbacks they took in the first round, and just things haven't worked out for them. But this franchise is just a quarterback away. And if they could land somebody like Watson or Rodgers, or maybe they might take a flyer on Kaepernick or something. I don't know what the fuck that they're going to do, but they got to do something in the next year or two, because this team is really good, and I think they're going to be a big noisemaker in the NFC this year. Okay, now for the last team on part 1, week 8, the Green Bay Packers travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals at 8 o'clock p.m. on Thursday Night Football. I can't remember the last time the Packers played Thursday Night Football, but this is maybe I'm just misremembering. So tell me if I'm wrong. When was the last time the Packers played Thursday Night Football? But they're going to play the Arizona Cardinals. And let me tell you what, man. Arizona, they just spent a bunch of money in free agency. They brought in people on offense, on defense. I feel like Arizona is thinking to themselves, we were this close to making the playoffs last year. Let's go out and try and get pieces to take us over the hump. So they go out and they sign J.J. Watt. I want to say they brought in another veteran on offense to team up with Hopkins at receiver. I mean, they still got, did Larry Fitzgerald retire? Larry Fitzgerald may or may not retire, but I'm not really sure what else they got going on at tight end and running back. I know they got the kid from the ex running back from Houston, and he was okay, but they still need to improve on offensive line, and they need to improve some of those other weapons around Murray. But I think Murray is special. I think Murray can be an MVP in the next couple of years, and I think Cliff Kingsbury has shown that his transition to the NFL went a lot smoother than some people predicted it would go. And even but I say all that to say, I want to pump the brakes on Arizona a little bit. I do think they are a little bit ahead of themselves right now because San Francisco was not at full force last year. And even with San Francisco not being the juggernaut we know that they can be, Arizona still struggled to kind of put themselves in a position to make the playoffs. Now, they did win some games against some tough teams in their division, and that is the toughest division in football, the NFC West. And I think that this is going to be a game that the Packers are going to be challenged because Murray is maybe the most electrifying player in football right now. Honestly, like I think he's a better passer than Lamar Jackson. I mean, I think that's obvious. And he might not be as fast as Lamar, but he's got a little more wiggle than Lamar. He's got a little more, I don't know, like it's in the fact that he's small, he's really quick with his feet, he's spinning. They're Lamar and Murray are different, but they're so similar. But they're also, I feel like the way they use their athleticism is a little bit different. And and Murray is much more accurate. He's a better passer. So this is going to be a tough challenge for the Packers. Okay, because this Arizona defense, this Arizona team, they went out and they drafted my boy Zaven Collins, my draft crush. I think the player that was very underrated. A lot of people said they didn't really know what a playing man was going to be, a linebacker. Was he going to be like this hybrid safety type of position? I think this kid is going to be a fucking stud at inside linebacker from day one. I'm talking like defensive rookie of the year candidate. I'm talking like 3 or 4 years down the road, defensive player of the year candidate. I really think Collins is going to be a stud. And they got Simmons from Clemson last year who's starting to come into his own and adjust to the league. So this team could be really potent, or they could still be a year away. We'll see. Okay? So that's my 8-week breakdown. Weeks 1 through 8. Green Bay already starting off the year with, like I said, some challenges. I mean, you got the Saints, you got the Steelers, you got Chicago, you got Washington. That's 4 games against teams who were in the playoffs last year. In all of those games, Chicago, Washington, Saints, and Steelers, they all have really tough, physical, offensive and defensive lines. They like to run the ball. They like to play smash mouth football. They like to get after the quarterback. They like to get pressure up front. So that's going to be a really, really good challenge for the Packers this season in those first 4 weeks, those first 8 weeks. And I didn't even include teams like the San Francisco 49ers, who I said they didn't make the playoffs last year, but we all know how potent they can be. And the Niners are a team that have historically given the Packers fits in the past decade. And then you got Arizona, like I said, a team that's on the come up. So that's 6 games, 6 out of 8 games against teams who are in the playoffs or were playoff caliber teams. Like I said, Arizona, they were on the fringe. So they could take a step this year and make it. So 6 out of 8 games against playoff or fringe playoff teams that have really dynamic weapons on offense and defense and can pose a challenge for the Packers. That's going to be a tough way to open up the season. Tough way to open up the season. And then, especially when you consider, from week 5 to week 9, from week 5 to week 8, and if you look a little one game further to week 9, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 week stretch, 4 out of 5 of those games are on the road. So week 5, week 6 on the road, week 7 at home, and then week 8 on the road. And then if you look ahead to part 2 of this video, week 9, they also start out on the road. So that's 4 out of 5 games on the road. I think that's going to be their toughest stretch, just because it's a bunch of road games, and the competition the competition is stiff. Competition is stiff. So let me know what you think though about this Packers opening first half of the season schedule, the first 8 weeks. Which games do you have circled on the calendar? Like I said, I got San Francisco and the Pittsburgh circled on the calendar for me. I just think those are going to be the biggest tests for Green Bay early in this season. Two physical teams that like to knock their opponents around and like to impose their will. Let's see if Green Bay can come out on top against both or one of those teams. Or if they lose, if they lose to both of those teams, I'm really not going to feel so good about this season through the first 8 weeks. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and hit the subscription button for me and the notification bell, and thumbs up this video if you like what you see and you hear coming from me. And if you haven't, you can also follow me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/GodchildTV. That's GDCHYLD TV. If you want to catch the live stream, we stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 12 every single night. It's lots of fun. The chat be popping. I do polls. We do reaction videos. We just have fun, and it's a lot of different kinds of people and fans and all over the world. So it's a really good time, man. So join me live if you want to get the real nitty gritty debates and everything and see how crazy everything is, man. Join me live on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 to 12 p.m. Eastern time. Until the next show, go Pack, go, and remember, the Bears still suck.
Puda, you the GOAT, boy.